Hey everybody, it's Chugga Conroy. Welcome back to more EarthBound. Last time, things got serious. We reached deep darkness, a place as serious as seriousness can be. Yeah, but we're gonna brighten it up with our own little brand of sunshine, of course. This time, we got a few things that I want to do before heading out. Well, we got one thing I gotta do before heading out. First off, I have to know something. Tree? No problem here. Okay, good. Second, Birdie. Need to call the Escargot Express, and I need to have the Hawkeye delivered. Make sure that you do this. I find that you're pretty likely to have that item in Pooh's inventory, just simply because he's the last one in your slot. He is the last slot in your party. He tends to have a lot of free item space, and his hat floating above the water is kind of funny. It's like it's buoyant, separate from his head. Give me that. Thank you, buddy, for sapping your health to be here. Next up, we're gonna just trudge through the water a little bit more, making our shirts, pants, socks, and shoes even more disgusting than they were from the sewer. Well, no, I think I'd rather wade through a swamp than wade through a sewer, but that's just me. I can see how you would feel a different way and would have your own subjective opinion. There's a banana inside. Sorry, not worth the inventory space. You're more trouble than you're worth. You go out into the deep darkness, and you find this snorkel. Shh, be quiet. I look very important, but I'm not really. I'm a cash dispenser man. If you want to withdraw cash, I'll charge you a handling fee, which is the same amount as your withdrawal. So what, do you want to withdraw? Heck no, we have teleport. Why would we ever take advantage of that service? More like that service is taking advantage of us. We gotta use the Hawkeye. Ba-dum. And now we can see. It might seem like if you know the way, you wouldn't need to have it. Ooh, that's... Okay, let me stop for a second before I talk about that. It might seem like you wouldn't need to be able to see if you just know the way, but not only is Deep Darkness very huge and very maze-like, there's also the fact that there's an invisible wall that gets spawned in if you haven't used the Hawkeye, so it is required of you. That's why it's been treated with such importance. I was saying that over there is a bit of a remote enemy that I often go entire playthroughs without seeing. Its overworld sprite is also very tough to see beyond just what we have seen right now. It is the Zap Eel. They're not special enemies in any way. Their only attack is something that we didn't even get to see. It uses an electrical shock attack, which is Thunder Beta. Yet another one of those enemies that uses psychic moves without actually being psychic. You are the hard crocodile. We faced the easy and the medium. Now it's time for the hardest one of them all. They're actually kind of strong. Not like it was really visible there, and not like it's really visible now either. It has a swing its tail very hard attack as well as a strong biting attack, and those can be a little bit dangerous. We're gonna move on a little bit more, and, you know, are you just not feeling this walking speed? Does it feel like it just doesn't really work? Well, turning into a pig isn't really gonna help you either. Okay, so there's no troubles around here. If you're not feeling into this walking speed, I got a tip for you. And it's called getting into a battle with an enemy I couldn't see. We got the Pit Bull Slug. It's a pretty weak enemy. It's already dead. Wow. So much for this place being serious. I like his battle background a lot, though. I could just kind of stare into that for a while. Dropped a salt packet. That's some good dark humor right there. I was saying it's not a very strong enemy. It has Hypnosis Alpha. It has a vacuum attack, but it's basically just a stronger version of the attack slugs that we saw back in Onet. The Demonic Petunia is a pretty funny enemy. And it's already dead. How funny. It has, all it can do is edge closer and immobilize you other than its main attack, which is an Extinguishing Blast. Similar to any water attack that we've seen so far, it is treated as fire. Hey, Shield Beta. Not bad. The Extinguishing Blast is Fire Gamma. It's a pretty dangerous move if it gets it off, but as you can see, not a whole lot of health. I wouldn't even describe myself as over-leveled, and I'm not even needing to use PSI to take out enemies. I believe somewhere in this area, we can use the Piggy Nose. Doesn't seem to be around here. I believe if it's on screen, that is the trigger for whether or not it'll tell you. And don't worry, I haven't forgot about that not feeling the movement speed. I do have a tip for you. I'm just kind of waiting for a slow moment to talk about it. Okay, it doesn't seem to be around here. You, I think, are a Manley Fish and a Manley Fish's brother, are you? No. Way to spoil the next couple of enemies. We have an even slimier little pile. It's kind of funny. It's pretty funny. I'm glad that this guy came back. He was definitely one of my favorite enemy names, and I'm just kind of happy to see him again. And of course you hit everybody but Jeff with that Thunder Beta. That was why I didn't attack you, because I had a feeling that you would get one of those hits on Jeff and attack yourself, though it didn't happen. There it is. That's all you do for an attack. If they hit the Franklin badge, that's it for him. The even slimier little pile, even slimier little pile. I swear I'm not Japanese stereotyping. I just talked very weirdly there. It's able to solidify you. It's able to make everyone cry. And ironically, it's very weak to fire. Maybe it's made of a very evaporatable substance. Beef jerky. I'm starting to not care about item boxes. Before I was like, okay, no, I gotta eat an item. Well, what do I have? I guess I could have sold the Coin of Silence to make a little bit of room back in town. But I just don't like that guy. You see? You see? Okay, so I forgot. What's it to you? Here, Paulo, eat a salt packet. Or, do you have any food? Nah, just eat a salt packet. A beef jerky would be more helpful than a salt packet. It would conserve all the PP that I'm not spending on battles. Give me that beef jerky. Probably would have actually mixed pretty well with the salt packet. Anyway, movement speed. If you want to move through deep darkness quickly, this is what you do in speedruns. If you're not clipping through walls and corrupting your save data. Whoa! That's about the last thing you want to get ambushed by, the hostile Elder Oak. That smile is the face of the god of death. He is, once again, an exploding enemy. He's basically a stronger version of what we saw all the way back in Peaceful Rest Valley. How far we have come. And we are still terrified of these guys. Ooh, it actually hits pretty hard, too. It's not just kind of a stronger enemy, it's a pretty stronger enemy. Mortal damage to Jeff, mortal damage to Paulo, not like it matters because we can just mash through. And gain some experience. I don't know if I've touched on this yet. I'm sorry, it's been a while since the last exploding enemy that we've come into contact with. But you should be very terrified of having your picture taken in the middle of a swamp. Jeff! That's what you get for being inside Paula. I'm sorry, I couldn't resist. Your behavior needs to be treated as in the wrong, young man. Crap, what was I even saying? What was I saying? No, I forgot what I was saying. Okay, this is why this is why God invented on-screen text. Kaweek! Tend to village comes nobody. Far it's because. Queek. Learn how to talk from Yoda. I'm saying that, yeah, if you want to move through deep darkness quickly, use teleport alpha, run into stuff on purpose. It is quite a bit quicker. You conserve health this way. It's 1 PP per attempt, so it is very worth it. Odds are you have at least a few PP restoration items, and you should be good. But we've seen a few interesting things in the distance. I'm gonna have Paulo use the piggy nose once again before we go on. Doesn't seem to be around here. Man, I am just not having good luck. I might just start checking trees instead of pulling out the piggy nose. I'm not a big fan of it. I like that you can use it multiple times, but it feels like it'd be so much quicker to just walk over and check the trees that you suspect might have them on it. Because you don't need the piggy nose to pick them. If you just know the trees, you can do it. If I miss them, no big deal. I'll just come back through here again and show it to you. But it's completely broken. I thought I could fix it, but on re-examination, I noticed there's no engine. I mean, he was a bad kid, I won't deny that, but I don't think he deserved being in a helicopter crash and getting looted out here. This kind of evokes feelings of something very dark that happened to me when I was young. It was that I had a bully who was not always a bully. He was in a mutual group of friends that I was in. And I didn't really not get along with him. He was just kind of there in the early years, but over time, I guess he just decided he really didn't like me. Every day, called me names, was really nasty to me. I never saw 1 ounce of remorse for him. I never saw 1 ounce of remorse from him, and I remember that I just absolutely hated this kid. And I guess one of the things that taught me to, just kind of, try to be nice to people even if they aren't nice to you was that he ended up actually passing away in the 9th grade, and I remember just being kind of sad that I never really made nice with the guy. I never really had a chance to be good to him. I treated him badly right back, and I remember that was one of the things that I think shaped me as a person, where I still occasionally feel bad about it to this day. I know that it does not excuse, like, him bullying me for years, but it's still one of those things that I do wish I acted differently in. I don't mean to dwell on it. It is something that happened a long time ago, and I can't really lie and say the guy was a friend, but I remember that I did replay EarthBound around that time, and I did get that feeling when I got to that helicopter again where I kind of just remembered him. And it kind of reminded me just how much I had changed since those days and how much I wished I could show him that I had. In a way, Pokey sort of reminds me of him, and that's mainly what I was trying to say. I hate to throw away something that'd probably sell for at least 1,000, but we're gonna ditch the Coin of Silence. I guess we'll let Ness eat the Lucky Sandwich just to kind of see what it does for him. Oh no, jar of deli sauce. 119 HP. It was just an HP recovery item. That was lame. Souvenir coin. I got no one to blame but myself on that because I really should have moved the empty space to someone else's inventory before using it. Paula, you have the talisman ribbon. The souvenir coin is better, but you're the only one who could have the talisman ribbon, so maybe not. We'll give that to Jeff. Yeah, that'll definitely go on Jeff. While we are in the process of shuffling around our items and we have some empty spaces, I'd like to give... we'll give the lucky coin. Let's give that to Paula. Because I want Jeff to have an empty space in his inventory. I'm going to have Jeff give items to himself so that they move into the last space of his inventory until the heavy bazooka is in slot 1. I've been hyping this up for a little while, and we've gotten into a fair few about... Hello, Master Belch. Back for another round, I see. Come here. The big pile of puke. I like it, but I don't like it as much as the Japanese man. It is the huge barfy slime. Oh. It sounds like an enemy name that Mr. Saturn himself coined. I like this sprite a lot. I think it's a great piece of pixel art, and it's yet another example of so much personality being given to EarthBound, even when it's characters that we don't really know all that well. I don't know, I see this and it just looks iconic to me. This looks like EarthBound when you have the sprite on screen. We're gonna use the heavy bazooka. 328 damage. I have mentioned that the regular bazooka is infinite use. It is a bomb that you can use as often as you would like. And I used his regular attack right there for good measure to compare it, being 97 damage. You now have no reason to use Jeff's regular attack. It is almost as fast. Just go right over to his goods, mash through it, and select the first item. Not only that, but a super bomb hits adjacent targets, so if enemies are standing near each other, they get caught in the blast as well. With the multi-bottle rocket, Jeff was already the most powerful character in the game, but now Jeff doesn't even have to buy weapons. His ability to restore broken items and make them usable again, it's meaningless. Now that you have the multi-bottle rocket, and especially the heavy bazooka, the fact that you can use this as often as you'd like, there's no reason to hang on to it. He's just so powerful. I remember as a kid, I didn't use this very much because I figured that it would break after a few uses with how good it was, and I'd have to go and find another one, which God knows where I'd find another, broken bazooka. But no, use it to your heart's content. Shift it into his first item slot. There you go. Paula grows another level. I have not even gotten to go over the other enemies because it's just been so great. We haven't had too many repeat battles, so that's why I haven't used it up to this point. Jeff, what are you, man? Mr. No Superpowers. If you had psychic ability, it's no wonder you don't have psychic abilities because you'd be freaking broken if you had those of any kind. Yes, 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 please! Good, all right. I've been hoping for this to happen. The Manley Fish's brother is a rare enemy. Typically, they spawn in alongside, yep, you guessed it, Manley Fish. These two, the Manley Fish is a bit of a warrior where it just jabs you with a spear and that's its only attack. The Manley Fish's brother is far more dangerous. I would like to show you what it's capable of through example. So we're just going to, well, okay, I'm gonna target most of my attacks on it, 2 out of 3. Yeah, he did Paralysis Alpha. Jeff is numb and can't move. I wonder if he can he use the heavy bazooka while he's paralyzed though? Because it does no, it doesn't let you use items, never mind. I'm gonna spy on the Manley Fish's brother. In vain that he will have an item. Those of you that are veterans, you understand. He tried Freeze Beta. Thankfully, Paulo has the rain pendant. This bro guy is notable for being by far the most difficult enemy in the 1 in 128 challenge. It's very apt that it plays the Sanctuary boss theme when you fight him. Why is he any more difficult than any other enemy that drops a 1 in 128 item? Well, he is a rare enemy, for one. For two, he almost never attacks not alongside a regular Manley Fish. They almost always spawn in pairs. For three, you have no way of knowing which one is the brother and which one is the normal one on the field. Why would this be a big deal? Well, item drops get rolled on the field when you touch an enemy because it has to account for insta-wins and check for item drops whenever you would get an instant win against an enemy. You can only get 1 item drop per battle in EarthBound. There is never a case where you will get multiple item drops. As a result, the way that it works is you will touch an enemy on the field, it will roll to see if it drops an item. If it rolls negative, it moves on to the next enemy and rolls that one, but if it gets a positive, it just stops there and doesn't even bother to check. In the very real scenario that you touch a Manley Fish on the field and it rolls for its 1 in 32 chance of dropping a beef jerky, it doesn't even bother to check the Manley Fish's brother at all. Never mind all the other enemies around here that commonly drop items like these pitbull slugs here. If you have ever gotten a Horn of Life off a battle against a Manley Fish's brother, congratulations. You have seen the rarest event in EarthBound. It is insane how rare they made this thing. To free up some space, Ness used the Cup of Life noodles on Jeff, showing that it is able to get rid of any status ailment. We've got an item box, a rock candy inside. I'm gonna hold on to that for a certain bald-headed kid. And we're gonna teleport again. Gotta be careful to run into something before it's too late, otherwise you gotta start the entire place over. Ooh. The last thing to say about the Manley Fish's brother is that I was kind of hoping that he would demonstrate it in the battle we had. Kill him first. Do not give him any chance to be the last one standing. Why? He has Healing Omega, something that we have yet to see. It is the most powerful level of healing. It heals all status ailments, including death, from the entire party. If you leave him alive and he's the last one standing, he can effectively restart the battle, in addition to him using powerful PSI attacks against you like Freeze Beta, Paralysis, Hypnosis, all kinds of nasty stuff. We're gonna keep going. Just keep trudging through the water, losing little bits of more health. And here we are. You may have forgotten, but burp, I am the return of Belch. I fought you before. P.U. Don't you remember my ripe odor? Belch has trained more and returned much stronger. Burp. Belch has also changed his name to Puke. Barf, vomit, barf, barf, shock, shock. Drown to death in puke. Don't you think that's an incredibly masculine taunt to throw at you? It's an incredibly masculine taunt to projectile vomit at me. Master Barf? Not Master Puke? Master Barf? Are you feeling all right there, buddy? I know that being sick is kind of your thing, but that's still pretty bad consistency. Master Barf is yet another strong enemy. We ain't got no fly honey to deal with him. That sounded very pale coming from me. Yeah, he is able to make you nauseous, he's able to make you cry, and he's able to call for help. He's a pretty strong enemy, and we don't have any way of dealing with him. In Japan, he is called the Return of Belch. So I think maybe it was one of those lost in translation kind of things. We're solidifying his body quite a bit. Thought about some beef and started crying. What is it with Ness getting homesick whenever he's near Master Barf? Maybe, I don't know, I'm sure somebody's gotten a hello, it's your dad talking to Master Belch. Maybe it's the one in the world that's correct. Pooh swooped down from the sky. Pooh's just used his new power, PSI Starstorm. Pooh tried Starstorm Alpha. 400 damage. Master Barf was defeated. Left a present. Casey Bat. Jeff took it. Paula's level is now 53. Max HP went up by 3, PP up by 2. Jeff grew to level 51. Vitality up by 1, loving it. And Pooh doesn't get anything. He is just the same as always. Pooh has gotten, I think, a bit stronger. He is now level 44, which I believe is a little higher than when he left. I think he was in the high 30s. I think it's really stupid that you get him, he's not helpful, and after maybe an hour of getting to use him, maybe a couple hours if you really explore a lot, whoa, that was kind of weird how I did the whole blur effect right there, that he ends up just leaving the party. I find it weird that it's blurring the screen for that flash. The re-releases of EarthBound do have a little bit of screen blurring going on to not trigger epilepsy, and you're getting to see that a lot more here than in other places. I find it really strange, though, because I don't think that it's such a bad thing that it blurs the screen to prevent epilepsy, because, you know, that's more people who get to enjoy EarthBound who might not have gotten to otherwise, and I think that's a wonderful thing, that the game can be enjoyed by more people by them just making this one little cosmetic difference that, you know, in all honesty, doesn't really matter that much to the rest of us, and they didn't have to do it, and besides, the rest of the game is unedited for content, and, oh gosh, you resist freeze too, that's right. The regular Manley Fish doesn't, I can never seem to get that right. Wow, for a 25% chance, that sure is happening 100% of the time. Okay. If you're wondering why I didn't equip Ness's new weapon right away, we'll get to that in a moment. But Jeff, you could... Ness misses home. Well, there's also that, the fact that Ness isn't exactly the definition of reliable at the current moment. If you could drop a Horn of Life, I would love and love to have that happen to me in a recording, please. Ah, I freaked out there for a second when I had more text. Pooh, you eternally disappoint me. Okay, we'll be sure to go back through Deep Darkness again and get all the magic truffles on our second run. But I mainly just wanted to get to a safe place where we weren't losing health constantly. Now that we have made it to the edge of Deep Darkness, and we got Pooh in tow once again, it's like stepping in doggy doo, we are at the end. Next time on EarthBound, we'll finish up everything we were doing in Deep Darkness and seeing what lies beyond it. See you guys then.